Okay, so now there is the follow-up question on war. Okay, on war. Now, so this is a very long question on war. You know, war, battle, countries going to war. So long. Okay, so the question is about World War II. When was World War II? I don't know. It's not that important. All right, there was the Second World War, where the whole world went to war. And then there's also a question about guerrilla warfare and ideology. So here I think it's about ideology. Who knows who is Adolf Hitler? Do you study about him in school? No. Okay, how did you know about him? Are you sure it's the right one? Now, Adolf Hitler. What did Adolf Hitler want to do? He wanted to kill all the Jews. He wanted to kill all the Jews. Now, Adolf Hitler, based on this question, actually, what's your question? I don't understand what's your question. I have the whole thing here, but it's very long. Okay, I read to you. Rising to power. This is your school homework, is it? Okay. Now, rising to power in an economically and politically unstable Germany, Adolf Hitler, who wants to create a pure German race, he rearmed the nation and signed strategic alliances with Italy and Japan to further his ambitions for world domination. So Adolf Hitler wanted to create a pure race, right? A race, you know what's a race? A race is like a group of people that in his mind is very pure, very special, with no defects. So he wanted to create that, all right? So here we have Adolf Hitler. Okay, Adolf Hitler. All right, now Adolf Hitler, he wanted to create a pure race. People that have what? Blue eyes. Blue eyes, certain height, blonde hair, what else? That kind of thing. Blue eyes. Who have blue eyes? Okay, so if you don't have blue eyes, if Adolf Hitler lived now, he will kill all of us because we don't have blue eyes. Okay? So you take color pencil and hurry up draw. Right? So anyone that don't have blue eyes, not blonde hair, he wants to kill all of them. He only wants this kind of people on earth. Alright, so, but he's not blue eyes, right? Oh, so after he created, he got to kill himself. Okay. Now he wanted to create that, so he started to form nations to fight with him. Really. You see, for world domination, he wanted world domination. So he tried to go to war and all that. He declared war. Hitler's invasion of Poland. So he invaded Poland and drove Great Britain and France to declare war on Germany. Wow. And World War II began. And World War II had begun. So I'm not sure, what is it about?
My question was, if they go to war for ideological reasons, like, because you say it's for self-defense, right? But then because the war was ideology-based, so
okay.
Is it wrong?
Okay, so is war based on ideology, right or wrong? What is ideology? You know what's ideology? Someone has an idea, I want it to be like that, and this is the ideal thing that we should have. So if his own idea, and he said this is ideal. Alright? So someone who wants to create a race that's like that, then go around the world and kill all black hair, black-eyed, green-eyed, purple hair people. Is it okay to fulfill an ideology? Is it okay? Wow, it's a good purpose, right? The whole world, all the same race. Is it good or bad? Faith, what do you think? Good or bad? Or grace? Or faith is there?
I don't think it's very good.
Don't think it's very good. Okay. Okay, so why do you ask about ideology? Maybe that's a question I'm not answering.
Because when you said previously on war, you were saying it's for self-defense, right?
For self-defense.
But then, was it right for the Allies to intervene when Germany invaded Poland?
Oh, okay. So when Hitler is like that, is it? The mustache, right? Now, if Hitler conquered, he went to attack Poland. Hitler attacked Poland, then who helped Poland? Okay, UK and France came to rescue Poland. Alright? But UK and France is not being attacked, right? So there's no self-defense involved. So is it okay for UK and France, who are not being attacked, to be busybody and get involved in the war? So that's your question, is it?
That's the second part.
Okay, first part first. Alright, so army men, is it okay? It's okay. Why is it okay?
It's indirectly self-defense.
Indirectly self-defense. What do you mean?
Because if Hitler takes over Poland, then they'll attack UK.
Hitler, then he attacked here also. Yeah, but you're imagining that it's self-defense, no? So you just imagine, I think Pastor want to hit me. Let me hit him first. I better hit Pastor first.
It's quite direct.
Huh?
I want wrong people, but then UK and France, not everyone has wrong people, you know.
Now this case is a case of what? It's a case of protecting the innocent. Okay, in the Bible very often. Now God is a God that always protects the innocent. Right? And God cares for those that are bullied. Always. In fact, God says, when you farm, when you collect all your fruits, you must leave some for the poor, for them to go and pick. Right? So God always cares for them. So God, by character, always tells us not to bully. Right? The lesson here is don't be a bully. He wants what he wants, and he goes around bullying other nations. Same, boys and girls. You want what you want, don't bully other people to get it. That's the point, okay? Now, so this is about helping the weak, protecting the weak. Yes, in a sense, it may go to them as well, but I don't think that's so much the case. But protecting the weak, protecting the innocent. They are innocent, they are being attacked. So that is not evil. What's the second part?
My second part was, if it had happened only in Germany and didn't invade another country, because he's killing.
If it only happened in Germany. Okay, so now the second part. So within Germany, I don't know how Germany country looks. Within Germany, okay? If he starts to do it in Germany, starts to kill his own people. Is that what I'm saying? Start to kill his own people. Should Australia go in and help? I better don't. Okay. Should country X, Y, Z go in and help? Should or not? Shane? Should or not?
Yes.
Yes. Why?
Like what you said before.
It's the same principle. All right? It's the same principle. So to some extent, there is like the world have United Nations and different bodies to make sure that there is no abuse of human, I hate to say, but human rights. Abuse of human rights. Now, of course, you can take human rights to all sorts of extreme, but the decent stuff like killed for no reason, killed because you have black eyes, right? That is definitely wrong. So it is the same principle. Okay, it's the same principle. But then, what if? Now, do we know the real intention of country X, Y, Z? Do we know the real intentions? We don't know, right? Right? So country X might be, that's why I don't name names. Country X might be, let's go in. This is our chance to topple the government, and then our chance to make this country under our rule. Under the guise that I'm helping you. Right? So we may not know the intent. But if people declare the intent, you take that as the intent. But is it right if the country do this for the purpose of actually they wanted to invade this country? Of course it's wrong. Then it'll be wrong. Okay? Understand? Alright. So as soldiers, those in the army, what is your duty? Turn to Luke chapter 3. Luke chapter 3 verse 14. All right, Luke chapter 3 verse 14. Okay, let's read together. And the soldiers likewise demanded of him, saying, what shall we do? And he said unto them, do violence to no man, neither accuse any falsely, and be content with your wages. Now the soldiers asked the question, oh, if we become Christians, or what should we do? What should we do? And here is the answer that is, number 1, don't do violence to any man. Number 2, don't accuse any falsely. Number 3, be content with your wages. These 3 things. Did you notice the Lord did not say, the Lord did not include number 4, resign from being a soldier? No, right? Did the Lord say it is wrong to be a soldier? No, the Lord did not say that. But it says, as a soldier, don't do these 3 things. Understand? Okay? Okay. Right? So you go back, don't bully people for no reason. No, bullying is always wrong, whether it's reason or not. Don't bully people. Don't do violence to people. So, for example, if you defend a country, asked to defend a country, then you stop people from attacking, maybe you stop the terrorists from attacking a country, then you capture the terrorists, right? Then you put all the terrorists in prison. What should you do? Torture them. Should you? Should you capture the terrorists? You should. Part of defense, correct? Should you, after capturing the terrorists, torture them? That is called doing violence to people. Okay, that's called doing violence to people. Even in wars, they have proper rules about how you treat your enemies, the prisoner of wars. Okay, so do violence to no man. Don't accuse others falsely. All right? No, the enemy or the terrorist wanted to attack me when he was in prison, just because he wanted to beat up the guy. All right? So always be righteous. You complain about your money, your salary? Are you sure? You sure? A few times over dinner, they pay so little, not enough for me to buy this and that from the supermarket. Say again?
That's allowance.
Okay, wow, you play with God's word. That is part of your wages. As long as what they give you, right? Okay, I see a hand there. Yes.
What about if you want to get information out of...
You want to get information, so you waterboard the guy.
No. Because if you want to get information that could aid you in protecting the innocent, so their next plan, the terrorist next plan.
Why you keep winking at me? Don't wink. If you, are you trying to trick me with a question or what? Okay. I thought you were trying to trick me that I'm telling you this. I don't tell the others. So it is a real question.
Yes.
Okay. So it's a real question.
Okay. It's just my habit.
Oh, okay.
So there are other forms of. It doesn't have to be physical torture. You can get into their mind to get information out of them.
Okay. Give me an example of what you mean get into the mind. I don't know.
Like if you can have multiple interrogators asking them the same thing and treating them under various stress conditions mentally without physically hurting them. So if they can come up with the same response every time, to find out if there's any holes in their explanation and answers. Is that allowed?
Depends to what okay, the question is, can you ask questions and keep asking the same question? Do you go home? Do you go home? Do you go home? Do you go home? Another person comes, do you go home? Do you go home? Right? Keep asking. Now, so is that considered mental stress, mental abuse? Right? Depends how you do it. Right? If you purposely, if you do things that will cause the person to be emotionally abused and all that, of course it's wrong. Right? But questioning techniques to keep asking until the person finally makes a mistake and let out the truth, that is not wrong. Right? So the main thing is you should not do mental and physical abuse that is really abuse. And abuse is, if you don't tell me, I will kill your children. That kind of emotional blackmail, of course, is wrong. Right? Okay, enough of all questions. Now, so main thing is this. Did Jesus says you cannot be a soldier? Go resign. No. Okay? Right? Now, the next thing. Turn to Romans chapter 13, verse 3. Romans chapter 13, verse 3. Okay, Romans 13 verse 3. Okay, verse 3 and 4. Shall we read together? Romans 13, 3 and 4. For rulers are not a terror to good works, but to the evil. Wilt thou then not be afraid of the power? Do that which is good, and thou shalt have praise of the same. For he is a minister of God to thee for good. But if thou do that which is evil, be afraid. For he beareth not the sword in vain. For he is the minister of God, a revenger to execute wrath upon him that doeth evil. Alright? So this is God talking about responsibility towards governments and powers, authorities in the country. What does God call authorities in the country? Ministers of God. God is the one that set up authorities in the country. Okay? Now, what are authorities in the country for? To ensure that you don't do evil. And what would God say when you do evil? What does He say about the rulers? Please look at verse 4. But if thou do that which is evil, be afraid, for he beareth not the sword. Beareth not the sword in vain. So does God say that the government cannot... What's bearing the sword mean? Benedict, what does bearing the sword mean?
Has the ability to carry out penalties and discipline.
Carry out penalties and discipline. Alright? Why don't you use rod? Why don't you use stick?
Sometimes the penalty so severe it's like the death penalty.
Sometimes the penalty requires the death penalty. Sword. Alright? Sword kills. So is it wrong for authorities when you do evil, at least from God's perspective, this is what God says, God does sanction the using of sword against those that do evil. So there are, and in the Bible there are God does give principles, right? Murder, death penalty. Do you think murder and the country use the sword to execute? You can use gun also, right? So this then don't have gun, but basically execution. Do you think is evil? What do you think? Jesslyn, do you think it is wrong for capital punishment to be executed? School project, right? Do you have this question in school? No? Yeah.
I don't know, because like in the Bible, some cases like murder wasn't punished by like capital punishment, and at the same time it's also murder. So I don't know.
Right. Now in the Bible, some cases, which cases were not punished for murder? Were not punished with capital punishment. Not sure. Now how can you quote? Okay. Now God, for a fact, you're correct. The second part is correct. God does sanction capital punishment. We know that. We read in the Old Testament. We see it in the New Testament. God does say use the sword. Alright? That God does sanction. But under what cases is the important thing? Murder is premeditated. Right? Manslaughter is not. Even in the Bible, manslaughter, there is no capital punishment. Okay, so we do know that God sanctions it. It is not wrong. Now the question is this, Mabel. Is capital punishment wicked? Capital punishment is not wicked. Almost all school project capital punishment is wicked, I think. Why is it not wicked to you?
It can be used to remind those who want to do the same, commit the same offense, not to do.
It can be used to remind those who want to do the same, to cause fear in them that they won't do it. Yes, that's one. So is it wicked? Do you know what's capital punishment, Ilim? You know what's capital punishment? Capital punishment with the capital P, no? Capital punishment means execution and it results in death. Okay, capital punishment. Now you understand? Okay, is it wrong for a country to execute capital punishment? Because here God says the government hold the sword. Means can be death. Is it wrong? Is it wrong? No, because it's in the Bible, right? So in God's eyes, He say fine. Yes, so one, it is not evil because it prevents people from lightly wanting to commit the crime of murder. Now what else? What else? Okay, now you understand what's capital punishment. Elim, is capital punishment wicked and evil? Why no? I know you will say no, but why no? I should ask the second question straight away. Why no? Because God said we can. So you learned this morning, God is infinitely good. God is infinite in His truth. So God will never ask us to do anything evil. Okay, good. But one practical example. Wait, Claude. Okay, ask your daddy to help you. Claude, why is capital punishment not wicked, not evil? Because I think many students begin to think capital punishment is evil means what God says is evil, you know? Right?
God has a control power to let the people die for chastise their sin.
Okay, so God chooses that this kind of sin, since He is the giver of life, He has the power to say take life. Okay, but still people think it's a wicked thing, it's an evil thing. Is it an evil thing? Maybe Esther, is capital punishment evil?
I think if it's used correctly, it's not evil.
Used correctly, it's not evil. But most people say as long as it's capital punishment is evil. How can you take a life?
Some people, they can cause more life if they are spared.
Some people can cause more lives to die if they are spared. That is very important. Capital punishment is not evil. Capital punishment is good. Capital punishment this is a person that killed someone. Okay? And he can keep killing more. Have you known of that? Actually, you read in the newspapers very often, right? That's why a lot of public people are very upset. This is a serial killer. You just let him out. And then straight away, within a few hours, went on killing again. Like, hear it all the time. So, is capital punishment on this one person evil on the rest? Remember, capital punishment is for protection of others. Okay, so of course you have to review, but you cannot categorically say, oh, capital punishment is evil. Correct? So capital punishment, when God implements it, is always for the protection of the innocent. Yes.
When government make decision, to give the capital punishment, because they are human, they do make mistake, and people, innocent people can die because of the law imposed to them.
Right.
So what does Bible talk about?
So sometimes, because it is the government that give the execution command, and government can make mistakes. So if the government make the mistake, then the innocent got killed. So is it better that we don't have capital punishment in case the government make the wrong decision? So that's the question, right?
No.
No.
Of course, we should have capital punishment.
Okay.
That's the idea, but because of its government, they are not perfect. They can make mistakes.
Right? Yes. And then the question is?
In the sense that we cannot rely on the justice of government as a superior
Right.
coming from God, because they can make mistakes.
Okay. Yes, so they can make mistakes. They can make mistakes, that is true. But I'm just trying to answer that we cannot say that capital punishment is wicked. That's the main thing I want to answer. Can they make mistakes? Yes. Should they be held accountable when they don't do a proper job? Yes. That's why in the same place it says, make sure you don't do evil. If anyone said, whoa, capital punishment is good, let's, as a government, let's use this to get rid of our enemies. Then they do evil, eventually God will hold them accountable. That's all we can know. Eventually God will hold them accountable. That is what is going to happen. But still, we know capital punishment is sanctioned by God. It is for protection of others. Okay, not just kill all the time. I think you stole a chicken. Right? Let's make sure you kill him because other chickens get stolen and eaten. Then you execute anything. It's according to premeditated murder. Yes.
So it means it's only applicable for people who committed the crime of murder, is it? Because there are also some countries that they also give a capital punishment to people who do drug trafficking. So is that evil also?
Yes, drug trafficking kills many lives. So some government view bringing drugs is equivalent to killing people. Many people die because of it. Right? Okay? Alright, so some of these things. Now, do we have a perfect answer for all? No. But all I'm saying is capital punishment for the right application is not evil. We cannot just simply think it's always evil to take a life. No, it is not. Okay? So, for soldiers so God says He put in governments. God says it is not wrong to be a soldier, but be a righteous soldier. Okay? That's why if you want to join the army, be very careful. You know you will face more difficult decisions than being a nurse or maybe nurse, being an engineer that every day operate the lift. It's different. So if you choose to be in the military, know that if the government say, you go, I want to attack this country because we want to grow our nation. Go and attack the country. What must you do? You cannot, you know. So you think carefully. You must be ready to be court-martialed. Go kill that terrorist is in the jail. I don't like him. That terrorist killed my son. Just go there and kill him now. You cannot, you know. You cannot. So all of a sudden there are many questions that you have to be aware of. So the point is this, young people, when you choose a job, think carefully. Some jobs are more difficult for you to be a Christian than others. But I'm not saying don't be a soldier. Because God also needs His testimonies in the army, correct? God also needs His people in the army to preach the gospel, correct? So God is not against being in these areas, but be aware. Be aware. Okay? Understand? Okay, no more questions. So God does execute judgment through countries for protection. What do we have here? Top 5 reasons why church dropouts, what church dropouts say, why they stop attending church. Now please remember 66% of, well, I take the American view, they are the most readily available results. They stop attending church at least a year after turning 18. So from